Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Tala Odeh and I head up capability development here at Cosmic Centaurs. We're a leadership and organizational development firm based in the GCC, and you are joining us for the seventh edition of our annual Cosmic Conference. We're running this over 3 weeks from March 25th up until the end of this week, April 17th. And this year's theme is around grounded and limitless, how to lead an organization that can survive and thrive. And it's really at the heart just all about how we help leaders navigate the prolonged uncertainty that many of us are experiencing here in the GCC, but without losing their footing or even their ambition for what's to come. And the questions we're exploring together across the conference with 20 plus speakers, practitioners, thinkers, kind of comes through three lenses. So week one has been about endure. What does it take to stay standing? Week two was all about adapting. How do we evolve as the environment shifts? And week three, which is the week that you're tuning into, is called Thrive. And it's about how we take what we learned from a crisis and turn it into something that makes us stronger moving forward. And it's been an amazing journey so far. Our team in the chat will be adding all of the links so that you can catch up on all the content. And this week, we're really unpacking how organizations scale their performance, how they take the lessons of a crisis and build lasting strength and resilience into their organizations, hopefully becoming stronger and more innovative and prepared for our very uncertain future, it seems. Before we dive in, I just wanted to say this is a conversation as much as it is a webinar. So Wafa, our amazing guest who was joining us, I'll intro her in a minute. We would really love to take your questions. So drop them in the chat, tag someone who you think would find this conversation valuable. And if you've been tuning in and you are looking for a small way to give back to these free sessions, we do have an ask. We are currently running primary research on how we lead from the Arab world. We believe that the world has something to learn from us, and the team is going to drop the link into the chat to a survey that takes 5 minutes, and it'll help us capture how leaders are navigating this current uncertainty and contribute to a white paper that we will publish. So for today's session, it's titled Individual and Collective, the Power of Community, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Wafa Al Obaidat. Wafa, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
And we're excited to have you. I'm going to give everybody in the audience an idea of just how remarkable you are. Wafa is the founder and CEO of Playbook, a pioneering edtech platform, professional network, and global community that has grown to over 800 members across more than 100 countries and 500 cities. Through a network of 200 experts and over 16K minutes of exclusive content, Playbook creates real opportunities and meaningful change for women worldwide. I am also a very proud member of Playbook. I think it's a remarkable platform. But that's not all, because Wafa is also the founder of Obey & Hill, a multi-million-dollar communications firm and a globally recognized speaker who's delivered over 200 talks on entrepreneurship, leadership, and women's advancement. Her work's been featured in publications such as Forbes, Bloomberg, CNBC, and the Washington Post. And she's been recognized among the top 50 most powerful women in business by Golf Business. No shortage of accomplishments. Mashallah alayki, Wafa, that's amazing. And actually, I had the pleasure of hearing you speak at the Qatar Science and Tech Park Summit, or the Web Summit. That was amazing. It was where we first met, and looking forward to today's conversation and inshallah many more to come.
I'm excited, Tala.
Me too. Let me tell everybody what we're going to be talking and unpacking today, because for me, this is a conversation. I was like, we have to have this. That has to be part of the program for the conference. And it's because a lot of times in uncertainty, the leaders we work with, they don't default to the answers that they have. They actually default to each other. They look for community. In a crisis, when you see response, be it a natural disaster and people mobilizing, or in ecosystems where people are contributing to the growth and partnerships of each other, progress doesn't happen individually. It actually always happens as a collective. But yet, every time you look up the word leader in a stock image, you find one single person standing at the top of Mount Everest, assuming they got all there by themselves. And every time I see that framing, I think it's so disconnected from our reality in the region, first of all, for sure. But then in general, no one does that alone. No one has all the answers. Leadership is really about the ability to bring people together, think with them, and kind of move progress, navigating the unknown, but never feeling like you have to do it all by yourself. So what we want to talk about today is, what does it take to build that community? Not just a network, but real community, and what can you gain from it? And how can the collective resilience that the community offers really help us navigate the uncertainty? So well, we have a lot to cover. And before we dive in, we like to check in with our guests. Given everything that's happening, I just want to ask, how are you really doing today?
So I'm doing well. I'm generally like a very positive person, and I think one of our values at Playbook is positivity. You'll
Yeah.
never see us whine or complain or be over dramatic. On the contrary, we're very solution oriented, very opportunity focused. I think something that we've done very early on at the start of the war is really pivot our energy towards creating a wellness series that could add value to our members, to our corporate partners. That was very specific to what they were going through. There was a lot of people
Mhm.
feeling very scared and uncertain, and a lot of parents didn't know how to deal with their children and what to say. And I think that we stepped up and started churning this incredible member-led content and bringing people together through our multiple channels. So I think I shifted my focus towards what we can control. And I think that's what we've been doing as a team, just showing up every day and doing the best that we can. And I think one thing that one of my amazing co-founders has done is just she does these check-ins with emojis and check-ins with one words, and just to gauge how everybody's feeling at the beginning of meetings. We also brought everyone together at the very beginning to just have a vulnerable discussion about how we're all feeling. And I think that really helped us gain a lot of fuel for the next 6 weeks post that. So feeling positive. And I think as a mother as well, you have no choice but to power through and get through your days.
Yeah, I couldn't relate more. I think that positivity can be such a way to, like you say, power through and to spread that, be it with your team or in your household, is like such a good way to get through this time. And I think I commend you. I love that it's one of your values. I'd love for you to maybe tell everybody in the audience a little bit more about Playbook. I mean, you hinted to some of the community initiatives, and I
Sure.
I want to hear more about that in a minute. But could you tell us a little bit more for those who might not be familiar with Playbook, what it is today, and also then we can talk about kind of how the power of community has really come to life and how you've observed it through the last
Sure.
6 weeks. Yeah.
So Playbook started a couple of years ago with a real love and authenticity to bring together a group of incredible women that could learn together, network, and obtain and create wealth. So we always brand ourselves as a private network where women can invest, learn, and grow and connect. And we are a 500 portfolio company. We are venture backed. We have a beautiful, incredible team across multiple markets. And we've built Playbook as a technology and as an app. So women connect and learn through our technology and through our multiple resources. We are also content creators and knowledge transfers. So we have over 20,000 minutes of original content, from master classes to webinars to boot camps that we've launched over the last few years. And we have hundreds of coaches and experts at the tip of your fingers that you can book, whether they're nutritionists or life coaches, business coaches, legal support. We have a pool of experts there to help women navigate different aspects of their career. Our business model is membership based, but also we have partnerships, and corporates also purchase access of our tools for their employees. So we're used as an incredible retention tool. And we recently acquired an angel investment network. So today, Playbook has basically bought a Women's Spark, which is the largest angel investment network out of Saudi Arabia. We have over 100 active angels. We host demo days and match founders with investors. So it's an ecosystem. That's how I like to see it. And there are multiple facets, but at the very core of it is, which is why I'm excited about the theme for today, is community.
Yeah. Beautiful. I actually really love what you said about how many resources are available that the community either powers for each other or from the platform. I think like at Cosmic, we always say we're learn-it-alls, not know-it-alls. And part of what we love to do is share what we learn with the world. Actually, that's where this
Yes.
conference came from, to say like we want to bring people together and learn about how we can navigate whatever is facing leaders out loud with others, like we don't want to ever gatekeep. And I think that some of the experiences that are available through Playbook and on it is really so valuable. And maybe I'd love to hear a little bit about, what makes Playbook a community and not necessarily just a network. Like there's nuance in that definition. I find myself correcting some people sometimes. I'm like, that might be
Yeah.
more of a network. But I'd love to hear from
Yeah.
your perspective, like what went
Sure.
into kind of building it to make sure it is that community.
I mean, I think we built something we wanted for ourselves as co-founders. We felt there was something missing in the market, an authentic network where women were an authentic community where women were doing business together, were able to be vulnerable, to ask questions and ask for help. I mean, you can't go on LinkedIn and be like, I need X, whatever it is, you know? And we wanted to build these spaces where we could talk about money and investments. And
Yeah.
I think when we pitched this to investors, we showed them traction very early on. We made thousands of dollars in early subscription, pre-revenue, before we even launched a single product, just by talking to our customers. And we really built that, you know, over a series of time. But I can quote back to you what one of our investors, Rima Hadid, and our founding members has said, which is, Playbook is so authentic. She's a part of many networks, but she's like, this is a real space that's protected almost by leadership, without a hidden agenda, where women are
Wow.
genuinely there to support each other and be positive and, you know, support each other with access and community. But I think, going back to your question, what's the difference? I think I myself, I'm a part of many networks. I'm an alumni of my university, for example. But I think building a community comes with intention. We have a real intention here to activate this group of people where they can exchange knowledge, ask for contacts, ask for access, request meetings, or request warm introductions. And I think our intention here is to build something really wholeheartedly authentic, where people can be there for each other. So I think that's the difference. I think we work together and build together as a collective. And I think a network is perhaps something that you joined, that you're a part of, but maybe the agenda there is not necessarily to have that exchange where you give and take. And I think that's what makes Playbook so, where it's working for us so far, is I'll join this community. I'm also expected to mentor, to coach, to support others as equally. Like, I'm meant to be there for the members as well as ask for what I need.
Yeah, I love that. As part of your onboarding experience, you had something where we were able to sign. I believe it was, I don't know if it was referred to as a charter, but it was
Yes.
where we signed to like pay it forward, to mentor others. And it really felt like, okay, great. We all know, like, part of my initiation was to say that I'm clear on the purpose and I'm going to contribute to that
Yes.
purpose in some way, shape, or form. And it does feel like it has, like, if I envision it like a city, like, you know, there's something that is protecting us, that keeps us all in there together, versus just being able to kind of like cross in and out. So I really love that. Yeah.
That's awesome,
Amazing.
Tala. Yeah, that's one of our pledges. And that's exactly why we built it, so that there is this promise that I am willing to give as much as I'm taking from this community.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, community is one of our values at Cosmic Centaurs, and it's because we really believe that, you know, communities are a source of abundance. Like, it's so beautiful how
100%.
much you can really just like give and gain, and how when you're within a community, you just feel like, you know, that's part of it. Like, you wouldn't think twice about it. Like, absolutely, like, ready to. So, but that pledge process makes you really feel like
Yeah.
it's like a rite of passage. Like, okay, great, I'm committing to this purpose that I believe in, and I love that. I want to kind of bring us to today's context, and you know, a lot of leaders, maybe they felt like they had to navigate everything that was happening alone, right? But I'm sure you've seen remarkable examples within Playbook about how community came together for each other, enabled each other. I'd love, you know, if you have an anecdote or two, that would be amazing. Kind of just to give us a glimpse into some of the ways that this community has helped each other during this time.
Sure. I mean, we track hundreds of points of data across the app. We do a lot of interviews. We survey and poll our members constantly, just to check in with
Yeah.
them and see what they've actually achieved. I think that some of the things that we are so proud of is the fact that Playbook has given many members their first investment has been through Playbook. We've heard hundreds of women talk about how they've invested in different financial partners that we've connected them with, or invested in Playbook, or invested in one of the founders as parts of Women Spark that we have connected them with. We've found members who started a podcast together, became co-founders. I was at an event in Riyadh, and a member came up to me and said, I found a board member to basically be an advisor to our firm. So, like, you hear these incredible stories, they're shared with us amongst our many channels. But I think Playbook becomes the space where you can really be intentional about who you want to look for, and you don't have to, like, you know, stalk people on LinkedIn. But it's like we mentioned earlier, everyone signed the pledge, everyone's there to support. And I think the best and most incredible members have been able to hack that through the Playbook app and the different resources that we have. But I think that's what excites us the most, is just knowing we're making such a big difference in different members' lives. We see hundreds of hours being booked through our app, and we also like it's not just the outcome, but some people tell us that they feel better about themselves, they feel more confident about their work, or they started a side hustle. And I think it's all these micro wins across our platform that's giving us the drive for us to move forward.
Yeah. Love that. I think it's so many, like you said, micro and small ways that people can actually come together. I know through some of the communities I've been part of, I've also seen that there's lots on Playbook actually about how to lead through uncertainty, much like this conference. Like there's so many important conversations being had. I think there was one that was really nice around how to navigate uncertainty as a parent, and then recognizing that dual role of like leader and parent. And like you said kind of earlier, like how to navigate it for your kids and for yourself. I'd love to know what's helped you kind of get through this, like has Playbook or, outside of Playbook helped you in some way navigate the past 6 weeks or uncertain periods in your life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'll be a bit biased, but I think what has helped me navigate has been like our team is also a micro community within Playbook.
Yeah.
I think we've just I can't even explain how proud I am of our team. They have held their heads so high with grace. They have showed up every day to work. They've given work 100%. We have been there for each other, checking in with each other. That's been really like a source of energy. But also, we are hosting this beautiful summit, which was meant to happen April 6th and 7th in Riyadh. And we moved it to Q4 just because we prioritize the safety of the speakers and the attendees and our partners. And the amount of empathy and support we received from hundreds of speakers from around the region and from around the world who said, take your time, we're there for you, zero cancellations. Our sponsors are with us. They're like, we're sticking with you guys. So that's been actually on the, yani, what was so incredible is anything that was pending, any partners that were like, we'll let you know, have all come back to say we're in. We have some exciting, government strategic partner announcements coming up as well. So I think we've found a huge source of community coming from our members and from our partners. So I'm excited about that because it gives us a few more months now to drive that summit forward.
Yeah.
So I think it's also something to look forward to. And I think now that, at least in the foreseeable future, some things look uncertain. We're all just hoping that this dies down by the end of the year so that we can bring back a lot of our big exciting projects. So I think finding something that excites you, something to look forward to, and working with amazing people has been great. And obviously our members are checking in with each other. We found members who were stuck in different places around the world getting support from their members to surf on a
Oh, wow.
couch or get transport, and just that is what excites us. This is why we built the app. So I think and built the community that we did. So I think that's what excites me on a work wise. And I actually like appreciate work more than ever, and just showing
Ah,
up for Playbook, because it disconnects me from online learning a little bit, where I'm like in sweats and like supporting my son as he navigates the world of online classes for the first time. So it really like breaks up my day so that I have to
yeah.
step up and put my game face on. And I think that's been really instrumental, or else I think I might spiral or get stuck in bad habits. So I think just like forcing myself to be like, okay, I have to show up and have a meeting. The rest of the world is still business as usual. So also it's about being professional. And I think that's also been quite a gift during this time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, I always quote the chairman of Vermont when I worked there. He always used to say work is a gift. And it really can be,
Yes.
honestly. It
Pressure is
gives
a
you.
privilege for sure.
Absolutely. And it's a gift. And if it gives you a purpose, it helps you, especially if you're so deeply aligned to the purpose of your organization, it helps give you reason to get up every day and take that one step forward. Because in times of uncertainty, we can freeze, we can go into that mode.
Yeah.
Actually, we had Sandra Salame joining us for one of the earlier webinars in the first week, and she's like, a lot of people feel frozen. They don't know what to do. They don't know what steps it takes. And
Yeah,
yet,
like it's a numbing feeling.
yeah, it can be for sure. I'd love to know. I mean, you speak with such passion and fervor, and it's contagious, honestly, about Playbook. And I know that you shared a little bit about why it started. I'd love to know, like, was there a moment either pre-Playbook or in your life when community really helped you navigate a tough or uncertain time? Whatever you are willing to share, we'd love to kind of hear. Did that shift for
Yeah.
you? Did that
Yeah.
ultimately take you down to the playbook route? Like, is that how you got there? I'd love to know.
I think, Tana, what a great question. And every time I see a dip in my career or if I fell down on a personal level, community has always saved
Yeah.
me. So,
Yeah.
on the one hand, I built a personal advisory board around my career and my work. I curated and selected a group of people that could help me navigate certain challenges I was facing as I was scaling the companies I was running, but also inviting people to serve as advisors, whether it's about scaling or money, has been life changing. I've saved myself millions of dollars in bad decisions because I've had access to this amazing community of people who said, listen, we care about your career, and we built that relationship. And they were able to give me advice in moments where I was uncertain, that have been life changing. So I think my board of advisors, which I keep rotating and changing based on my needs and my evolution as a person, that's been a community that has served me and probably leapfrogged me in different aspects of my career. I think another community I'm so grateful for is the Young Global Leaders community. It's also a brilliant group of global leaders that are coming together to solve the world's problems, but also partner and work together. And that's a privilege because I'm able to talk to heads of state, former prime ministers, and the access there has been wonderful. And from a learning perspective, I have been in closed doors and round tables where I was equally able to add value but learn. So that's a very special community to me. It's really guarded and very curated, and I respect that a lot. And then on the in terms of maybe the most challenging experience I've had and where community has showed up for me is I've had 2 miscarriages, and the first one especially was very traumatic. And the amount of women that showed up out of the woodworks when they've heard the news, or friends of friends who shared their story with me, has helped me. And it has really given me the energy to stay on the course of becoming a mother, or else I think it would have destroyed me as an experience. But I was shocked at how many women have had similar experiences, and a squeeze of the hand, someone saying, you'll be okay, someone sharing pictures of their kids. I think that's been changing. I still remember waking up from the first procedure I've had post having a miscarriage, and the nurse just like squeezing my hand and saying, me too. And we had a very similar experience. And it was just, you think nothing, and you think at the time there's something wrong with you. And then someone says, it's okay. You joined this group of amazing women who've overcome this very tragic experience, but then seeing them with their families, being positive, being hopeful is a game changer. So I think community is just, this is why we built a whole business around this. We really believe in it as a game-changing solution for any time that you feel stuck, or not necessarily just negative like traits, but also even if you want to excel, or if you want to achieve abundance in different aspects of your career, this is where we need the community to show up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Wafa. I actually, I had the same experience. I know, like when we were starting a family and I experienced miscarriage, like I was offered, by Marilyn and Rhea for the Who Run the World podcast, all about women in leadership, to come and talk about the experience. And I wasn't really quite ready for the level of community support that I was going to receive. Like when it aired, I
Yeah.
just thought, like, let me go talk about this. It was part of a series that was called like things my mother should have told me but didn't. And it was like, it was just such a remarkable feeling to just see messages flooding in, resources, like you said, like hands, like feeling held in so many different ways. And that
Yeah.
can really help anybody, let alone a woman, a leader, in so many contexts, just feel, because it can feel like a lonely place. It really can. And so community
Yeah.
offers that. um, I think you have such a strong and poignant perspective on what makes a community work. And that's kind of where I want this conversation to go to, like to kind of have a community where you feel supported, first of all, as a whole. I think I love that about Playbook. Like you can show up as your whole self, not, oh, this fragmented part of me that was an alumni of this school, or this facet
Yeah.
of me that was living in this, area, but actually as somebody who's multidimensional and comes with the trials and tribulations of being a mom and a leader and managing a team and building a business and shaping off.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, like, community for our cultures is something so big. I want to know what you carried into Playbook from your experiences being part of communities or from your own culture. Like, how did that feed into the DNA of Playbook? Love to hear a little bit about that process from you.
Yeah, I think this feels like our home. So I think as leaders of the organization, us co-founders have to set the parameters of what does this home look like? How does it feel like? Who's welcome here? And we made a lot of decisions very early on that we were not going to be a gated space, right? There are so many of those gated communities for that 1%. We wanted it to be we wanted our doors to be open and for anybody to be able to have access to what we were going to offer. And as women ourselves, we've been told, oh, you're not chief level enough for this type of community. You're not living in this part of the world for this community. And we don't want doors to shut down on anyone who is ambitious and who wants to move forward in their lives and who is multifaceted and who has multiple roles. We just wanted to create a space where all women were welcome. And I think we faced a lot of setbacks. We keep getting pushback that we need to focus and zoom in. And on the contrary, we've proven that chiefs can be rubbing shoulders with younger entrepreneurs and they all want the same things and they're all exchanging ideas and they're all supporting each other. So I think that's been a decision that we've made. I think as Arabs, we are warm by nature and welcoming and generous. And these are just some of the cultural traits that we brought into Playbook. There is a warmth there. There is an energy of let me help you and what do you need and how can I serve? That energy of being a public servant is there. I think we're always ready to serve the community. We don't just work certain hours. We're working all the time. And if our members need us, we're there for them. And I think that was a very clear decision as well. And I think we created the tools, but we kept things open. So I think that freedom of giving women the opportunities to either learn or network, attend events online, offline. There are so many women around the world who need different things. So I think women are able to navigate their own experiences. It isn't a specific like roadmap per se, but it's pretty much a open space for women to create what they want out of it. And I think vulnerability is very important. We've had women ask for things that they wouldn't anywhere else. We're able to share vulnerable stories about how we launched the business, about how we, were able to achieve millions of dollars in investment. So we also lead by example by being vulnerable. And I think the last thing we brought in as part of our DNA is really structured opportunities. I think that on the one hand, the app gives you the opportunity to roam and book your coaching session, go to a webinar, attend a boot camp, but also our events are very curated and we structure them so that you can make the most out of attending. So we ourselves are so sick and tired of going to events where everybody's sitting around the same round tables in the same hotel banquet halls and the same corporate energy. So we try to pick amazing locations, have great music, great, mocktails and coffees and drinks. And we try to bring fun into this. So like we have a good laugh. I'd like to think we have a great sense of humor. And we MC ourselves, and you'll always find one of the co-founders around the world at these events, meeting everybody at the door, bringing people together, connecting people with each other. But our structured networking experiences are very well thought of. We gamify networking. And the idea is I really want you to leave knowing 20 new women. Or 20 new members. And I think we build those opportunities. And I think Tala, actually, when we were in Qatar, you had a great event where you activated us, or else everybody would sit exactly where they are and then leave just knowing one or two people. So I think we love to expand networks and also go deep in our conversation by creating prompts and opportunities. And I think that's been really helpful. I think that's why our events have been successful, and our online experiences have been great, just because, we've curated these, very useful spaces.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can see, like, first of all, like those events sound great. And I think that, thank you for your words. What I found when I joined Playbook was I felt like this value of hospitality that many of us in the region have. Like, حسيت إنه I got a WhatsApp message كأنه حدا, like as if somebody opened the door for me to enter your home. I felt like, I was being welcomed, like, please come on in. And I thought, wow, like we are so hospitable as a culture. And it's actually so beautiful to feel like my onboarding experience resembles that, where it's not just like a manual process of filling in. And I think that level of nuance is just, it's so important. And it really, those are the small micro moments that make a difference, right? And, referring to the Cosmic Conversation session I ran, like sometimes we spend a lifetime with our best friends and we've never asked them a simple question like the one that night was, what's your favorite tree and why? And it offers you a new level of depth, like a new way to get there. So I think that's It's so important. Maybe some of the other, I'd love to know some of the other rituals or practices that you either as a team or you within Playbook maintain to kind of keep
Yeah.
the community engaged and vibrant. Love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. So just like, yeah, piggybacking off the last question, I just wanted to say as well, like, yani, some of our members are amazing. Like you have Sarah, we just had a meeting today and she's launching this new campaign to get people to travel to 7 countries
Oh,
in 7 days and meet different members from around the world through, digitally. So how are we going to be able to like crack the code on that? But Sara, Neba, we have, and our, Neda, our co-founder, Shreya, we're all like very involved in every aspect of onboarding. How do we strengthen it? I think we are challenging ourselves to still create intimate spaces within this network that has thousands of people. But some of the things that we do is, we bring in new members through onboarding them through cohorts. So we're launching that pretty soon. We also have, obviously, our webinars are super warm and is a great way for you to meet different experts and coaches on a regular basis. The WhatsApp groups are essential. That's where a lot of the conversations happen and a lot of the asks are there and a lot of people kind of DMing each other. We have like these Airtable links with all the different member names, so you can kind of go through them based on your needs and wants and figure out who you want to connect with and ask us to make those introductions for you. I also do want to say we are working, and we haven't announced this anywhere yet, but we're working on a new, probably our biggest product launch, which I'm very excited about. Our team are working really hard to kind of reinvent what those rituals will look like through more automated processes and using AI, and how do we customize and curate your experience for you based on your needs. So hopefully that will
wow.
be launched, hopefully this year. But I think those are just some of the things that we do. And I think when you come to any of our live experiences or events, which are also member-led, we have 22 global chapters. They follow a similar structure of connect, learn, and grow. So we always have a learning component. We have a component where people can network, and then we have obviously the person who's hosting or the chapter lead kind of being that host of that experience. So I think we have our own guidelines, we have our own structures that we follow, and that momentum, I think that replica momentum feels like this is a Playbook event wherever you are, whether it's online or offline.
I love that. We actually really do try to adopt the same when it comes to our learning experiences and our events, like to create like a narrative, like a story where you feel like you're entering a
Yes.
space, like from every touch point, right? Like the artwork, maybe like the bookshelf behind you, like everything is a fragment that kind of comes together in this cohesive experience. Because especially when it comes to learning, like we always find that
Yeah.
people actually take away the experience itself and like surprise broadens the mind. So like under your chair, is there something? Is it a tool? Is it a journal? Can you walk away? Like all these small elements are really what enable learning
Yeah.
and growth to truly happen. And I
Yeah.
think that it's so great to hear that you take so much time to, create the environment that people can grow in.
100%.
That's so
And
important.
also, Tala, I think maybe also one other thing that we do, which I take for granted because we've been doing it since day one, is we also just really celebrate our members. If you come onto our social pages or if you come onto the app, we are always celebrating our member wins. So members share their wins with us or they share them themselves. But I
Yeah.
think no one is shy enough to kind of, give themselves a clap on their back, but
Yeah.
also like that energy of everybody winning creates like, oh, becomes the norm, that everybody's
Yeah.
progressing and moving ahead and getting unstuck. And I
Yeah.
think that's been huge for us. I think we always celebrate incredible women, whether they're members or not. We use our platform to do that constantly.
Yeah. I love that. Actually, we don't do it enough, especially as women, first of all, and also in our culture. Like you don't want it to feel like I, but no, I'm there to promote myself.
100%. Yeah.
It,
Yeah. That's so
it
true.
just is actually so inspiring. I mean, like I have like when I read someone, I'm like, wow, like go you. And I'm inspired to take that one step, that
Yeah.
gets you closer. And I think on the contrary, I'm so much more willing to celebrate someone else than I am to like say my achievement. But the more and more people do that, the more you normalize it and you make it feel comfortable
Yeah.
to be a thriving community. So I really like that. I think we as a team also try and recognize all of our contributions. I think we have shout outs and we have a Hall of Fame ritual that we do where we bring best in
Yeah.
class work and we talk about it, like what went into it. And um, Cosmic has a lot of high achievers working in the organization, I have to say. So I think it's always like we've now broken down the session into many different topics because we can't just cover them all. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. I want to actually take a question from the audience now. which is around engagement, because I want to keep us going around how do you engage a community. And Marie is asking, how do you engage a community, especially when things get busy or uncertain? In a context like today, what are some of the pivots maybe that you made that are helping to keep it engaged, but and also a place of positivity, opportunity, kind of like you're saying, grow, connect, learn, the pillars of your community?
Yeah, thank you, Marie, for that question. I think something that we do, it all comes down to people, right? AI can't replace community and that human connection and that human
Yeah.
touch. And I think our members, our teams are constantly connecting with members, whether they're meeting them to onboard them, whether it's asking what they need. We're always prompting our different chats and our different groups,
Mm.
and also on the app. We're always asking women to share their updates. Where are they traveling to? There are some features on the app called Travel and Meet. So women log in where they're traveling so that they can meet other members, and we can see, and we can actually do a whole experience around them. So if they're going to Boston, let them meet the people in the, in that area. And we
Yeah.
actually invite them to lead a session as well. So you're traveling, and you might be traveling for work or traveling for leisure, but you're also meeting other people. So that's a great way that we have that we activate our community. It's through prompting, it's through our different features on the app, and also we have ask and get. So like women have
Yes.
constant asks. Today I need like cupcakes for my son's birthday, right? Tomorrow I actually need a
Yes.
coach on AI, because we are pivoting into that space. So I think people are asking for things constantly, and we're prompting them to keep asking and not feel like they're a burden or they're taking up too much
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And I think also we offer a wide range of experiences online and offline, but just something as simple as making sure things are in their calendar, asking
Yeah.
them what's the easiest way for us to remind them to come. A lot of our members get engaged because we are organized as a team, and we put things in their calendar and we
Yes.
message them. I think what we also do is based on topics. We have a list of people that we think, okay, this group of members would be interested in this,
Yeah.
partnership that we're doing with a university on this module. So we message them specifically and we say, we're inviting you to attend, and we curate those lists or those sub lists within Playbook. And I think we engage different groups based on that as well. But yeah, it's hats off to the team because they keep reminding and sharing and updating constantly across all our channels. And I think changing things up, like I would say this year, we're all about masterminds and boot camps. Last year, we're about webinars. 2 years ago, we're about master classes, but we're constantly adding variety to our product mix. So our members are also engaged with new experiences rather than the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important to kind of help people also see that, like, what can we do during a time like this? Like, what can we, like, those pivots are important because communities could be rigid. They could continue to just kind of operate on a single approach. But what it sounds like you've built, and what I know from being a member, is like there's such true audience centricity. Like, you know them by name. I don't know how your community management
Yes.
team does it, but like it's remarkable. Like,
Yes.
know them by name to be able to pinpoint. Like, I was like, I might be going to Jeddah. It was within 6 minutes that somebody was like, "We are here to connect you with members in Jeddah." And I was like, "Wow, my trip got canceled,
Yeah.
but thank you so much. This is great. I'm coming back."
Yeah.
I think it's that value add. And I like to, kind of, I want to share a definition nuance again. We're huge nerds, and so we always like etymology is important to us. Like, empathy is knowing someone and feeling for them and what they're going through, and I think you definitely have that. But you go one step further, and you're all very compassionate, meaning you do something about it. I know our members are currently experiencing this as mothers, difficulty with online learning. Let us bring together those who are education experts or who can offer advice and tips
Yes.
or suggest, what educators might be able to do. And I think that's really a standout feature. I want to ask us about what you think, just what might hold somebody back, right? Hadid asks a question about, like, what holds leaders back from seeking out a community or joining it? Like, have you ever met someone where you've had to like convert them to kind of being an advocate? Maybe they were skeptical. Like, would love to hear a little bit about some of the nuance, like the insights on what makes a person
Yeah.
feel like, no, I don't need to be in this right now, actually.
Yeah, Tala, I feel like that's like you've nailed it on its head. Like it's such a good question because a lot of women we meet are like they've been burnt by joining networks that offered zero value, that they felt like, oh my, they just, and they stuck in there for maybe more than they should have, or they made the investment in groups that just did not have anything to offer. There was no structure. Maybe it was the wrong leadership team, maybe the mission wasn't clear. And I think they feel like, oh, I've done that already. I don't want to do this again. So we
Yeah.
have to really like we don't really have to do much because actually a lot of our members come from other members' references, but that's the magic for us. It's when our amazing members like Abdel, who's here in the chat,
Yeah,
and May, when they're
yeah,
telling other people about it, we get advocates who are like, oh my God, all my friends are telling me about to join Playbook. And I think that's our work being cut out for us. So I think that helps more than anything. It's when members who have great experiences, met great people, made an investment, and they feel great about themselves and they feel like they're progressing, and they are. That's when you see the conversion happen.
yeah.
And I think it's consistency. Like we've seen a lot of companies try to replicate what Playbook has been doing, and they've run out of runway or they've run out of steam. This is not for the faintest of hearts. This is
No.
a full-on experience. It requires a village to be able to run Playbook and to take care of its 11,000 members. And I think for us, what makes us determined is we know the gap in the market. We know how big the opportunity is. We also meet our promises. So we've promised that we were going to become one of the most largest, successful, fastest growing networks in the world. We're working so hard for it to be coming out of the hearts of the region. And I think our mission is so electric that members feed off of that, and they also want to be a part of the story, and they want to support and join and add value. So I think, like that's what we keep our eyes focused on. We also run a lot of experiments, and being a part of 500 Global has taught us not to take our members for granted, not to sit idle on the opportunity, but to try different things and host different experiences and launch different products and keep talking to our customers and keep seeing what do they need. So I think we're always a work in progress. And I think, especially with a new product launch, we've taken so much from our customers' feedback and our members' feedback and our investors' feedback to be able to build our new product. So I hope that also will be a game changer for us when people join.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think progress over perfection always. Like just try it out, experiment, put it out there, take the feedback, iterate accordingly.
And keep
It's something.
trying. I think you have to give things, you have to keep trying. Like I keep telling people, you have to try to see for yourself. We have a 7-day trial. You can come onto the app and experience it for yourself. But I think don't just give up and say, I've been there, done that. You never
Yeah.
know what the next group of people or community or network or opportunity brings you. So as a person, I'm always open. I'll always try new things, and I'm relentless to achieve my goal. So I hope people have that same attitude or mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important to kind of remember that like we need like when we work with some organizations to design their communities, and I think like what we try and tell them is like we don't know until we try. Like we will not be able to tell you if this experience is, they say it's what leaders say it's what they need, but then is it? We'll try, let's see, and if not, like we can adapt accordingly. I want to kind of talk about how communities actually, as like entities within themselves, can be very self-supporting, self-sustaining, and kind of you've given us no shortage of examples of how the Playbook community has really enabled opportunities. And for me, I feel like that impact can compound over time. Like it creates that flywheel of motion, right? And so I want to hear like, how did you see that play out? Like maybe a story of how Playbook has changed outcomes for a leader, not just like led them to one or two experience, but really like you call them like game changer opportunities, and how the power
Yeah.
of community fueled that,
Yes. So I think I have 3 examples. I think one is when we looked at, again, we look at hundreds of units of data points on the app, but also we look at qualitative things. We were able to provide women with over 600 speaking opportunities globally. We've become power brokers to put women and amazing leaders on stage. And I think companies and events contact us to be like, we are hosting a panel, recommend people, and we're really able to curate and put in place the right women in the right events globally. So I think that's also the beauty of working with us or joining us is, and because we know the members by heart and we know who they are and we know their challenges, their needs, what their expertise are at, we're able to really curate those lists. So that's one of our biggest kind of, I guess, that's when the flywheel really works. 22 startups have received funding from the Women's Spark community and from our community. So I think that gets us so excited knowing that we were able to help support women, especially female founded companies who get only 2% access to funding. And I think, again, people are like, open this up. We're like, no, but this is the problem. We need to change it in this way. You know what I mean? So I think we're really zoomed in and focused on it. I think we have such incredible corporate partners, Tala. I can't even tell you, people who are really believe in what we're doing. They partner with us. They believe in our skill set. They believe in our mission. They love the passion. I think they're also entrepreneurial themselves. So I think we see our work kind of playing out on scale when we partner with the right people to serve the same mission. So that's been really amazing, because you're now serving hundreds and thousands of people across companies around the world. And maybe my really like favorite story is the fact that we have created our own funnel of investors to Playbook. And I think this is when something unexpected happened. Once you put the right things in place, one of our members asked to invest in Playbook, and then we were so surprised by it that we opened it up for our members to invest, and we took one ticket size and said, if anybody, and we really brought down the ticket size so women could make that first investment and have that first experience. And 37 women from around the world, many of them we've never met or met for the first time, who have become customers first and founding members first, and members became investors. And that just proves that what we built works, but also that we built a community of backers from the very community that we built. So our pipeline are women investing from the community. So it's been really great, because these women are opening up doors for us. They're actually working for the business. They are finding opportunities. They're driving potential members. They are bringing in their friends and family to also invest. And I think that's been one of our most successful stories. And recently we've been finalists at the Cartier Women's Awards. And that was a huge story for us. And that, that in terms of how creative you can be in fundraising. So I think that's something that flywheel worked so beautifully for us when it comes to our own fundraising journey. And now 80% of our cap table are actually women and our customers. So it's very cool.
That is super cool. And I think also just such a amazing reflection of how, first of all, your target audience, can I just say, like, women being like the hustlers, like women being the ones who have historically in society played the role of being conveners and viewing the world with an abundance of opportunity. Like, we had a webinar with Rama all around the power of indigenous wisdom and how it helps us lead through uncertainty. And like, I'm just kind of really like rethinking about that conversation and how it's actually so true that like a lot of times, like in older societies, like it was the women who were really doing that. And I think that's so amazing about Playbook, how it is the women who are feeding that. And thank you also for expanding community to the lens of like the ecosystem, because I think we can overlook partners and organizations who feel like maybe they want to either initiate a community or be part of it. Like you beautifully said, seek for that alignment to purpose and alignment to audience, to feel like we're here for this reason, for these beneficiaries, and this is how we're going to really help to kind of scale the impact. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Tala. And just tying into what Rama was saying, I think someone once said that we're harvesting wisdom at Playbook, right? You have thousands of women sharing their playbook on things that they did not learn at university or school, but that they've learned themselves, and very painfully and slowly sometimes. And I think that's what we are. We extract those playbooks and we wrap them and set them so that they're available for everybody to kind of learn from. And hopefully that saves women a lot of time, energy, and less pain as they navigate their business careers and their personal lives as well.
I love that term, harvesting. Actually, we do like a growth training for as one of the products that we offer, and we did it for the Big Four. And when we presented our framework, which is farming, hunting, and cultivating, they looked at us like we were a bit mad, because they're like, "What do you mean farming?" I think we need to add harvesting to it. I'm going to take that to the team and see how like we can use that. So thank you. I love that.
Go for it, Tala.
I want to ask, like, if I'm a leader today at any scale, at a multinational, as a startup leader, maybe I'm at an SME, and I'm currently navigating this uncertain context. And, if I were coming to you for advice, I'd say like, Wafa, like, what's one mindset that I need to change in order to, when it comes to community, to help me in times like this? What would that sound like? What advice would you give them if you felt like they were navigating this at an individual level and they were missing out on like the opportunity to have collective resilience that carries them through this like uncertain context?
Yeah, I think one leaders, I mean, it's a very lonely job to be at the top,
Yes.
and to be able to be leading your teams. But I think leaders, more than ever, need to be collaborating with not just their own teams, but their own, with different advisors. I think they need to be able to pivot very quickly and not wait for things to, let's see how things unravel, but actually have scenarios and plans in place. I think that they need to be able to seek advice and experts in safe spaces where they can also be vulnerable. I think it can be very hard as a leader to put your game face on for your team because
Yeah.
you're the captain of the ship. You cannot be, or the pilot of the plane, you can't be having a meltdown or scare or show fear, because that kind of cascades downwards, right? From the
Yeah.
top down. And I think finding these spaces where you can ask questions, air your own fears, whether it's internally, but also finding external spaces where you can do that is very key. At
Yeah.
Playbook, we have a chief group, and that's a whole group of women that are
Nice.
working collaboratively on that level, just because they have their own sets of challenges that are maybe different than everybody else's. So there's almost like a micro community there as well. But I think, yeah, find your tribe, find a space where you can be vulnerable yourself. I
Yeah.
think work collaboratively with your team. I think you're not as, you're not as alone as people think you are. And yeah, I think now's the best time to be able to pivot and look for the silver lining and opportunity in your business. There, believe it or not, every time there has been conflict or there has been financial crises, there has always been an opportunity for companies to thrive, right? So
Yeah.
like for us now, the wellness series was a huge hit for us. Not only did we lead it, but our members also started to say we want to contribute. So they all activated to like serve their community. So that was incredible. And then also for us, we're launching, for example, our own now group of masterminds, which is how do we create these accountability groups? And I think there is so much opportunity right now. And I think we have to pivot and focus on, where's the upside right now. I think some companies, for example, have to become a bit more lean, and maybe that's okay,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them to kind of reinvent themselves, reshape themselves, and come out. But I think sitting idle is probably what you don't want to do. Freezing in business is what you don't want to do. And I think you have to build momentum and move forward.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's so important to remember that we have been part of communities like for so long, and that Playbook is a remarkable one. There's no shortage of them out there, and they've helped us get through so much. If you look at just take businesses alone, like BNI, another really popular like community, 26.5 billion closed business generated by its members. Like if like you say, there is opportunity, if there is that rainbow that we can see, like it is so important to remember that like you need to look at it as a source of opportunity and abundance, as a fountain that you
Yes.
can, pour into and take from. So thank you for that. I don't know how the time flew, but I do have to take us to some of our lightning round questions. We do have a few more questions in the chat, and I'd love for you, and I will jump in and also answer them after this. But with that, I need to kind of ask you my first lightning round question. Are you ready, Wafa?
Yes. Go for it,
Cool.
Tala.
So the first one is a play on the words of our conference. I want to know what keeps you as a CEO, as a co-founder, as a parent, what keeps you grounded?
So one is my kids. I have two kids under the age of 6, and they are like, yeah, they ground me the minute that I physically touch them, hold them, navigate school, online school with them, solve a math problem with them. I just feel really grounded, and I'm really aware of what's important and what I'm doing all of this for. I think I have a morning ritual that I've been doing for 10 years that is a non-negotiable, and it includes a combination of little things that I think resets my nervous system and gives me some time to myself. And the last thing is movement. So I'm very big on getting my workouts done as early in the day as possible, so that my endorphins are high, my energy is high, and I can power through the day and serve my business and serve the team and support the community that I'm a part of.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Allah يحفظهم لأولادك. And I think also sport is a
Thanks.
beautiful community that you can be part of. I mean, people make lifelong,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's so important.
totally.
Then maybe the offside of that is what helps you feel limitless?
So I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I'm a hyper learner. I do everything on speed two, audiobooks. I'm always listening to something. I always have like a book with me and then audio and then my free ebooks on my Fable app. I'll squeeze in 10 pages. Like I was in the dentist yesterday getting a root canal and listening to an audiobook for an hour and a half. So like I was like Leo Tolstoy done with the death of Ivan Ilovich, just like reading through classics. But I think I'm always able to keep learning, and that's how I'm able to just keep expanding myself and offer value. And imagine being in somebody's mind, and having access to all these minds all day, every day. I think wherever you sit, you're able to connect with different people. If there are problems, you're able to look at them from different solutions. And you're always able to lead if you want to be a leader. Like, talk about extracting thousands of playbooks and then being able to put them, test them, based on scenarios. So very big on constant consumption of content and no social media also. So
Nice.
like I'm off social networks since June of last year. Best thing
Nice.
ever. So I think that also helps me be limitless and not kind of narrow and funnel in my thinking.
Absolutely. How can you dream when you're busy doom scrolling? You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Amazing. We love the curiosity. We also love the books behind you. You got some compliments in the chat. Want to shout them out. And I think you want to tell everybody how many of those books you've read?
So yeah, I'm such a dweeb. I counted. So I have over 1,200 books, and I've only finished half. So I have another half to go. I
Love
still
it.
buy new ones though, but
Nice. We
but
love
now
it.
I
Yeah.
buy them based on how much space I have in
On the
my
shelf. It's a good,
yes.
you need a filtering system. You need some sort of like filtration. So it's
Yes.
really
I can't do black books. I'm done. I don't have space.
note to publishers. Wonderful. Maybe another question, really close to our hearts and close to the leadership research that we've been conducting. What is the one leadership quality from the Arab world that the rest of the world can learn from?
I would say warmth. Like we are warm in this part of the world. We are natural hosts. We will host you. We will feed you before we feed ourselves. We
True.
will make sure you're okay. We are very gut driven and energy driven. So if we like you, we like you. If we don't like you, you have a lot of work to do. And we're non-transactional. I think we're about relationships and building roots and yeah, just connecting with people. But if I could sum it up in one word, is we host. We're just the best hosts,
Yeah,
natural hosts.
beautiful. Thank you. And maybe based on everything we covered today, we covered so much ground. But if you had to kind of distill the conversation into the top three things you would advise leaders to do right now in this current moment, what would those be?
One is learn to pivot, even as an individual. If you have a job, think of a side hustle, think of saving, think of investing, just, really like be able to pivot as a human being. In order to accommodate the circumstances. Find something that you're excited about, personally or professionally. For us, it's the summit, it's our new product launch, but even on a personal level, are there some things that you could achieve during this time that you maybe have more space to do so? Like find the silver lining and something to excite you. And three, don't stop talking to experts and coaches. One of our founding members, Zena, was mortified to hear that in this part of the world, we're all not part of a mastermind. And she's like, everybody in New York is part of a mastermind. But like, make sure you have your own advisors and coaches. Invest in the right people, experience talking and meeting with different people to lock in the right advisors for you. And keep connecting with them. You need to constantly be learning. You don't always get it from your peers. So I always try to lock in sessions and meetings and even 15 minutes with people who are 4 or 5 levels ahead of where I want to go. And they
Yeah.
usually can show me the playbook, share hacks, make introductions. So just make sure you have the right experts and advisors by your side.
We love the insight of the personal advisory board. I think it's a reminder that like you can curate community around you of leaders who are in your corner and helping you learn and make sense of the world. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for everything. You generously shared like insights, experiences, stories. I'm really grateful for your time. I do have to wrap us up. So maybe I also just want to extend so much gratitude to everybody in the audience. We had great engagement, lots of questions. Thanks to everybody who is here with us. I know that, between work and like you're saying, online learning in the current context, we don't take for granted that you've given us your time. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Tala. What a pleasure. You're a wonderful host. I love this
Thank you.
conference. And thank you again for joining Playbook. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful. And
yeah.
thank you to everybody here for sticking with us for the last hour.
Yeah. Yeah, no, really grateful. We will share this recording as a YouTube video and as a podcast, and we'll be able to share it with on our website as an article as well. So if you do know of somebody who might find value in this conversation, you're welcome to pass it along. Just a reminder, we would be grateful if you could please contribute to our primary research on leadership in the Arab world. The link to take the survey is in the comments, and your perspective about what the world can learn from leaders here would really mean a lot to us. And so we'll be continuing this conversation and many more for this week. It's honestly a week of superstars. Wafa, you are, definitely one of them. Tomorrow, we are actually turning inward. It is the Cosmic Centaur's 6-year anniversary. We'll be joining. Please come here on LinkedIn Live, 12 p.m. UAE time. Our CEO and founder, Marilyn, is going to deliver a keynote called Crisis and Creation, the Birth and Life of Cosmic Centaurs. We're going to talk about how actually we were born in the pandemic in a time of uncertainty and what it takes to create and build engines of change and keep organizations resilient. We will also be having Rajat Nanda later in the day. He's CEO of DataVolt. He's going to be here for a session called Riyada, From National Vision to Global Impact, where we talk what it takes from national ambition to global relevance and how you scale and integrate. So all of that is to come with many more amazing speakers this week. Please do follow along. Thank you for being with us, and we really hope to see you in the next session. Bye now.